12,000 Ks and 6 months so far. 2.8 litre 70 series, comprehensive review of what I've discovered so far that not really anyone else can tell you, because I've actually had it off-road, I've travelled with it, and I've had it as a daily driver for, holy crap, it's been like 6 months now. Over to 12,000 Ks, what are the best and worst things? Subtle details that I've discovered that many people don't know. And I finally found a bull bar that actually looks nice on the vehicle. For those who don't know the journey so far, here's the extreme short of the long version. It all began with my first impressions of a silver 76 series. We have the all new 2.8 litre 4-cylinder wagon LANDCRUISER out for its first drive and first look, feel, smell. This got me super curious, which made me do this. I bought a 2.8 litre automatic LANDCRUISER 70 series with the intention only to keep it for 3 months. What have I done? I then off-road tested it 4 times in 1 week. This eats up the sand. Epic. At the moment, out of the box stock, wow. I then put it to the test towing a 3-ton caravan, but that wasn't the entire challenge. It had to do it up against my tuned V8. I can't break 80 into 79. I just can't.
I am genuinely shocked. Chuck 4 of the cylinders in the bin and do this. This thing pulled better up the hill than the 79. You can blame all the tyres you bloody well want.
I had now felt like I've done everything I can in stock form, so I decided to add 33-inch tyres and took it for an 800-kilometre round trip, followed by an off-road trip where it even impressed a stubborn V8 owner.
That is way too easy. Very interesting.
After pushing the limits and nearly putting a 76 on its side, it was time to fit 35-inch tyres.
You had it too. You did.
And take it off-road again. We're pretty close to the edge though. Am I pinstriping?
It wasn't what I was worried about.
This time putting it up against a 79 series with the same size tyres.
It is definitely easy.
Yeah.
Like, you could drive, eat your burger and have a coffee.
It mostly exceeded expectations. It was then time to answer all the critics. The day has finally arrived when we get to see if this 2.8 litre 4-cylinder 70 series on 35s can do a better job than the V8. It's matched the V8 up that hill. Okay then, let's tow 3-ton with 35s to Shark Bay and back. 2,000 Ks later, it didn't skip a beat. It was at this moment I decided. I've made an early call. I am going to keep this 2.8 litre 76 series. And just recently I went back to Shark Bay again and lived out of the 76 for the most part of a week, testing out its new mods. Not much more Aussie than pristine beach, a 76 series, and a thong shack. At the beginning, I had very low expectations of this 4-cylinder 2.8. It has totally eclipsed them, to the point where I ended up selling my V8 79 series. I've actually sold it in order to keep that. That's where we're at. I'll discuss the following. Riding comfort. Is that even a thing? The issues that I fixed, the issues that still remain, hated. I want to change it. Daily driving, fuel usage, my 70 series hacks, plug at the back, and explaining the unexplained. If you're not familiar with the 70 series, it's basic, it's simple, it's robust, capable off-road, still okay on-road, but it is in no shape or form luxurious, and you don't get many options. This is a very simple platform, and it's a basic vehicle. Often known as a farm truck, a mining vehicle, a clean canvas for a four-wheel driver, a bush hack. As you can hear, there's rattles and all kinds of stuff. It's a 70 series. That's what this vehicle is about. That said, being a 2.8, it's way more responsive than the V8. It's got more power, it's got more torque, and it's easier to drive, but it's still basic. Riding comfort. It's rigid, it's got leaf suspension on the back, After 12,000 Ks in this thing, you get used to it. It's actually not too bad. When a 70 series is quite light and empty, it bucks around a lot. However, when it's got a medium to heavy load, it sits a lot better and is a lot more comfortable. It's pretty much the same as any other 70 series, except for I find these seats slightly more comfortable for some reason. I don't know if they've changed the shape or maybe because they're still new. For 12,000 Ks, something that doesn't really get discussed when it comes to the 70 series is the seating position. It's quite high. You can see over all the cars up ahead. So you feel like you're in command of the road. You're not getting that last minute warning of the vehicle hitting the brakes in front of you because you're already aware of it, you can see up ahead. And sitting up so much higher, you do get the sense of feeling safer, although it doesn't mean that you are safer. But the best addition I've done to the interior to make it enjoyable to drive in is adding the armrest. This is a bit of a selfless plug, but to be honest, without an armrest in a 70 series, gonna get some sore elbows by having it up here, especially on a long drive. Fuel usage is actually pretty good.
I was initially getting 10.7 per 100 on my left foot. My wife got 9.9 on stock. 33s, 11.7.
Considering what I've done to the vehicle, the roof rack, the bigger tyres, the lift, 13.5 litres per 100. And that's calculating it. That's measuring the litres, measuring the distance I've driven, adding the 10% for the bigger tyres. I think it's really good. That average includes off-roading, highway and city driving. If I'm just burning around in the suburbs, I can actually get slightly less than that. Do I miss the V8 when it comes to daily driving? Hell no. Daily driving, this is my preferred vehicle, even with the lift and the tyres, surprisingly. When I had the V8, I would always grab the wife's X-Trail at any chance I could. I would grab her car because it was so much easier just to get around. I thought I'd do the same with this car, but I don't know, it's just different. Like automatic, also shorter wheelbase, being a 76. It maneuvers around really well. The steering on this is definitely different than the older V8s. So as a daily driver, I will always go to this. You know, it's kind of the same vehicle, it's the same concept, but it just feels so much easier to drive around. It's also to do with the handbrake, forever parking it in gear. This look like you're worried about the handbrake. You don't really have to worry about that too much in the auto. Here are my top 4 things I have improved on the 70 series. Number 1, power and haul mode. This vehicle is already way more responsive than a V8. Having that power haul mode, that's the main game changer on this vehicle, particularly for towing. I don't really use it for just driving around because it has enough. Like it really has enough. It's just more for towing. Game changer. The second point, the 6-speed auto paired up with the gear ratios complementing the 2.8. Now 2.8 litre engine doesn't sound very big, but in today's standard, it's quite big for a 4-cylinder, but this engine has just been awesome. Is it proven? Proven in the Hilux and the Prado, so I'm fairly confident with this engine. And that was one of the things I was thinking about before I decided to keep this car. Third on my list, the headlight adjustment. Because people buy this vehicle for towing or loading it up, usually speaking. So having the ability to adjust the headlights from inside, I'm not getting people flashing their headlights at me. You're sitting behind people, you're not getting them brake checking you because they think you got the high beams on them, because these new LEDs are super bright. So when they're pointing slightly upwards or into the back of someone's vehicle, people think that you're flashing them. And the final one, as dumb as it sounds, all cars have this and should have it, electric mirrors. That is the next thing on my list for the best addition for this car. Look, second start didn't quite make the list, but it's worthy of it. It's time for the worst parts of the vehicle. There are some things that are still irritating me after 6 months of driving this vehicle. Since 2016, they changed the hubs on the front of this vehicle. It used to be simple and easy, just like this. 3, the wheel is disengaged. The wheel is now engaged. But they had to go and change it to this. I absolutely hate it. I want to change it. Having owned this 2.8 for, holy crap, it's been like 6 months now. I've noticed on this particular trip, I didn't really realize or think about before. I have had this 76 in locked mode for the past 3 months. I haven't gone and tampered with it. I haven't gone back to auto. I've just left it locked. That front diff has been spitting the oil the entire time. It's something I'm just going to keep doing. You need the wheel brace to go to auto mode or to lock mode. Having to get out with a wheel brace is a bit annoying, to be honest. Having that auto function, look, I went into it on the tech video about this vehicle. This is where you can unintentionally destroy your driveline. 2 high to 4 high, you can't do that if you're in auto. You have to stop. In locked, you can do that. Jump to there and you'll see why I'm leaving it in locked. Remember the bonnet issue I had with this vehicle? The bonnet moves. It's got this, it wobbles. Well, I kind of fixed it accidentally. Let me explain. When I got the vehicle wrapped, this bonnet wobble, which happens at higher speeds, just doesn't happen anymore. It's got to be something to do with the wrap. It's just since then stopped. The other thing it has reduced, sucks when you get light reflection, can't see a goddamn thing, is glare from here going into the window. I was going to put some matte black on there, not anymore. This has fixed it. But if you don't wrap the car, be aware if you do get one of these new 70s, regardless if it's a V8 or a 2.8, this is going to wobble as you're driving. One of the worst things about this vehicle is this screen. Every single time you turn the vehicle on and off, you gotta press that continue button. Most other cars out there, they actually have that function where after 30 seconds, it'll continue itself. Not this one. Do I miss the V8 when I'm traveling? Short answer, no. Long answer, look, it is nice to get into the V8 Troopy, have that rumble as you're just driving down the highway. You do feel like you're going somewhere. I'm going full driving, traveling, camping vibes. However, it is pretty sluggish when compared to the 2.8. It is nice when you're driving the 2.8 auto to not have that constant distorted hum in your ears the entire way. And so far, doing long trips in the 2.8, when I turn up to camp, I don't feel as tired as I used to with a big V8. And I think that's mainly due to it being a lot quieter. This is my own fault for having straight through pipes. Welcome to Point Colbar, the beginning of the Baxter Cliffs. It is what I'm used to hearing as I'm driving down the highway. But I tell you what, it's nice having a quieter drive. Old things I haven't changed on this 70 series, which I think they should have changed. Number one, the rear wheel track. For those that don't know, it's narrower than the front by 100mm overall, 50mm each side. It's a bit of an annoyance when you're driving on sand. I've covered this before. This GoPro footage really shows how far out the wheel track is. It causes the rear to flick out every now and then. Jump back to one of those videos to see that. The rear door issue, not that, this. You see that? It's not shutting properly. You have to really slam it. It's okay if you know that, but if you've got someone with you, they jump out and they close the door or whatever, they never shut it hard enough. But I haven't changed anything from the windscreen back, essentially, more or less. I haven't changed anything for nearly 40 years. The shape is the same, the door issue is the same. Same on the Troopy. Noise and rattles, I mean, it's a 70 series, it's a simple vehicle, so you gotta expect that if you go to buy one. It's just the way they are. There's no sound deadening or anything. You can see these are pretty thin panels on the doors, you know? Yes, the handbrake. The handbrake is still rubbish. Although, let's go to a few of those little hacks because I discovered something. How I preserve my handbrake. I've just pulled up into the driveway, foot on the brake, we'll go to neutral, then I'll grab the handbrake, at which point I go back to park. Why? Because it takes the pressure off the parking pin, but also takes the pressure off the handbrake. They kind of share the load now. If you pull up on a steep driveway, you put it straight to park and then you pull the handbrake, the parking pin will take up the slack. the vehicle needs to move a little bit before the handbrake actually pulls up. Because when you rely on the parking pin and it's taking all the pressure, you try to shift it to drive or reverse, you get this clonk. Whoa. Not cool. As opposed to nice and smooth.
Installing 12-volt accessories to your 70 series rather than making your own.
Accessory fuse outlet here. Put any fuses in and wire anything up yourself. That's pretty neat. There are two, but the one that's over there is the easiest one to use. All you need are some Toyota pins. Now, I looked for some before, I can't find them. Have a specific size that you need. This whole block is vacant. That is my UHF radio right there. And all I had to do was run the power from inside. There's a little grommet down there where I pulled it through. Heaps more room for more stuff, and more stuff is coming.
A lot of people who buy a 70 series will buy it for towing, and many of these people will have an Anderson plug at the rear.
So don't worry about these jumper style cables to hook your compressor up. Use your Anderson plug at the back. Very convenient. Very big unknown to 70 series owners. In the back of your service book, there are additional intervals for when you're driving in rough conditions. Or for example, towing. So if you're touring around Australia or you're towing or you're driving through mud, recommending additional oil changes and a few other things. Here's something that many of you likely don't know about the 70 series. It has a crutch cooler or heater, depending on what your requirements are. There's a vent underneath your steering column. It is awesome, especially when it's hot in the summer. You got your shorts on, you get a nice cool breeze up there. Just don't do it in winter with the cool breeze. I'm not going to tell you to go and buy a 2.8, and I'm not going to tell you to go buy a V8 either. Although I get asked that question all the time, which one should I go? Hey, I'm not making that choice for you. For most people, this isn't the right car. To me, what I personally like about the 70 series is that it's so simple. You can turn it into your own thing. And that's exactly what I've done with this, and that's exactly what I did with the previous two. And there's so much more to talk about and show you, like the new bull bar, but you're gonna have to wait. There's a few more things happening right now. 13,000 Ks in fact done so far, and many more to come. If you have any questions about this that I haven't answered in this video, put them down below. Until next time.